Hi, we're Chelsea and Tony, and today we'll be showing you our photo studio. We're going to take you through the gear that we use, including our tethering station, our tripods, our backdrop, our lighting, even light modifiers, so stay tuned. The first thing I'll go over is our camera gear that we keep in the studio. We use the Canon 5D SR, it's got 50 megapixels, and our favorite studio lens, which is the Canon 70-200. And all of that is on a Manfrotto ball head and tripod. We have a Dell 4K monitor, which is really nice for seeing your pictures pop up. It's all on this rolling cart, but Tony went over all of this stuff and how to hook up tethering in our tethering video, so you can check that out in the link below. Next, we'll take a look at our lighting, but first I wanted to show you the Polsey Buff Cyber Commander. It's really nice because it can control up to 16 lights, and it can even store your lighting settings. So if you have complex lighting setups, you can put the different variables in here and it will keep them for you. This is the Einstein E640.
This is our main strobe, and we have like a mishmash of different strobes that we use in here because I'm just kind of a cheapskate. In fact, I bought all of these used. This is the most expensive light we have, and so I have it as the main light, and they run you about 500 bucks new, I think. This strobe has an advantage in that it's very fast, so it fires it and freezes the action. The rest of these strobes aren't quite as fast, so this flash duration goes on a little bit more, and they might show motion, which could reduce sharpness, but because it's our main light, we're pretty much taking advantage of it. It also has very good color balance, so the color balance doesn't shift between strobes, flashes, which can happen with cheaper lights. We have a beauty dish attached to it.
Yeah, with a sock.
Yeah, this on the outside is a sock. It's a diffuser. We'll show the beauty dish from another angle, but we really like the effect of the beauty dish. It creates not necessarily completely soft light. It still retains shadows, which helps to show shadows under the cheekbones and can just be a really flattering look. You'll notice that I have a piece of sticky paper here with the number 1 written on it. All the lights have numbers on them that allows me to more easily adjust them up or down from the Cyber Commander, because
that can get confusing. And I think it's important to mention that this C-stand has kind of been a lifesaver for us.
Right, that's actually our 4th C-stand, because the first 3 just broke over time. As you can imagine, having all this weight out on an arm like this, eventually it'll just wear stuff down. So over the years,
also the light will lower sometimes if you get a cheap one. So this has been a really good one.
Twist.
This is an Avenger, and another helpful thing is this circular sandbag here.
Right.
That's the vest guy. This is one of my favorite ones. It's really nice and heavy. It keeps everything in place. So.
Yeah, you'll notice all our stuff is sandbag, and that's for a reason. That's something you learn the hard way, because at first you get a cheap light stand kit and you don't put sandbags on them, but then you have somebody in their studio and they trip over it and they knock the whole light over, and then you break a bulb, and then the bulb is 80 bucks.
Yeah.
And just the sandbags are cheaper. But don't fill them with sand, fill them with gravel. Otherwise the sand leaks out sometimes and will actually wear down your floors. Yeah. An expensive C-stand is really important. Do not buy a cheap boom or you'll be buying several.
Yeah, so that's not very sexy, but that's pretty important. That has been a lesson that we've learned the hard way.
Yeah. While we're on the topic, most of our light stands have casters on them. I just haven't found casters that fit this particular C-stand yet. But the casters just make everything go a little bit faster because you can just roll them from place to place. So sandbag plus casters gives you mobility and stability at the same time.
This light is a Polsey Buff light too. The White Lightning X series.
Yeah.
X1600.
It's a little bit older. It's a big, heavy, and durable light. It's very powerful. It puts out a lot of light. It doesn't have all the fancy features of this one, but it's cheaper. So we use this as a fill light and in a traditional portrait setup.
Big softbox on there.
Yeah, it never hurts to have a big softbox because it's very easy to move it away a little bit farther if you want harder light. So I like this Octobox. It's not as easy to mount and dismount as a beauty dish, but it unfolds pretty quickly when we do need to travel.
Our other lights back here, we have 3 Alien Bees actually, and those are also Polsey Buff lights. We get a lot of Polsey Buff lights.
Yeah, I picked these all up used from eBay, hence the varying colors, but I think I spent no more than 200 bucks on them. You'll be wondering whether you should get the B400s or the B1800s or the B1600s, but
I think those are B800s.
This is the B800. That one's B800, and then I think there's a B400, but
Yeah.
generally all those outputs are just fine. The higher outputs are a little bit better in that you can recycle the flash a little bit faster, but for the most part, for the backdrop light, for the hair light, you don't need that much power. Even for these, we just don't need that much power. You need power for filling up a auditorium. If you're shooting somebody's wedding or a basketball game, you need to fill the whole room, but in a studio, power doesn't matter that much. Also notice for these Alien Bees, you have to connect an external device to control it, and these CyberSync controllers cost a few bucks more. So at some point the Einsteins are almost as cheap as these because the Einsteins have a less expensive remote control. So just something to consider as you're weighing it, but we have a whole video about choosing the specific of the lights.
Here we have some nice barn doors as a light modifier. You can just move it like to keep the light from spilling onto your backdrop or wherever. It just helps you direct the light.
And this has inserts here, so you can drop a gel in there if you want to make the light yellow or orange or red or blue or something. Sometimes you want to start with a white backdrop and just color it that way.
We pulled out all sorts of junk for you guys. Wait, these are some backdrops that they're thick. They have a black rubber back, and then they have a design printed on them. I really love these. They don't wrinkle, they're super durable, and they make a great floor in a photo shoot, or you can even use them as a backdrop.
Yeah, they actually look completely believable in a picture. And it's a lot cheaper than getting a nice wood wall and painting it and letting it age for 10 years.
Yeah, so
you could throw a baby on there, just get like an instant,
baby.
Don't throw babies, but it's a good backdrop for
I've used it for
photos.
product photography a lot. So I really love these. And then we have our vinyl backdrops as well, and we have white, black vinyl, and also a paper green screen.
Yeah, and to adjust these, we have
This pulley system.
yeah, these pulleys, and this just allows it to more easily drop it down or raise it back up out of the way. And you'll notice that I have a ladder that I keep back here because every now and then the pulleys will slide off or we'll need to change a backdrop or something, and so you have to
those aren't my favorite actually, those pulleys.
yeah, they don't work that great.
We have a ton of stuff stuck behind these for backdrops, like doors, and there's some wavy plastic here, so we just kind of make backdrops too and then try to shove them back there.
Oh yeah, we have this guest back here.
A mannequin.
Excuse me, miss. This will often
Doing to her.
we'll pull her out before a portrait shoot and set her up so that we can get the lighting straight before the client shows up.
Poor thing. We have a few height modifying tools here too. We have the apple boxes, which I often have to stand on to be as tall as our clients if they're men. Otherwise, I'm just always shooting up at them.
Yeah, you'll show like a double chin if you shoot from underneath, so you usually want to be slightly above eye level.
Another thing that I do, I have several stools of different heights here. And those are great too, because often your client will need to sit down.
Yeah, we have a traditional stool, and then we have a more masculine stool. It's good for group shots too, because you need to have, you know, kids and adults at kind of the same height to fit everybody in the frame. So you want, sometimes you have people standing on here, sometimes you'll have people sitting on a stool, and you just need lots of options so you can raise and lower everybody to get about the same level and cram everyone in the frame.
Yeah, one thing I like about a stool is if you set up the light and your subject can't move, then that's a good way, it's a good marker. Or sometimes we just use tape on the floor too to make sure.
We'll put tape on a floor, but yeah, the average portrait client moves around.
I
more than you
wriggle a
want.
lot, so I like the stool. We have all sorts of kind of unconventional props. We have smoke bombs and various blankets and Christmas baubles and things like that. But one thing I really like in the studio is this fog machine. And it's made by Shavit, I guess. And it's just a good way to add some ambiance and get lighting going through the fog. It's cool, it's interesting. Another important part of the studio is having your second camera body ready just in case something happens while you're shooting. So here I have a Mark III. It could be anything you like.
This is just a big monster fan that we can use to add a little movement to hair, or sometimes just cool the room down. It's just a regular fan, Lasco.
So that's just a few of the cool toys that we have in our studio.